All right, guys, are you ready to fight Agatha? If you're ready to fight Agatha, you need to be ready. All right, you guys ready? Because we're going to listen to some of her ghost stories. But don't worry, remember, they're not real, so don't get scared. But in a minute, you're going to fight Agatha, and you're going to use your Lickitung, remember, because it's really cool that normal Pokemon are resistant to ghost attacks. So that those ghosts, just like we are normal with Pokemon, right, that they're going to pass right through us. So if you guys are ready, we're going to listen, or we're going to hear some really cool short ghost stories. You guys ready? All right. A young teen is babysitting for a family that is very, very wealthy in a large mansion filled with a huge number of rooms and a vast number of interesting antiques and artifacts. Strangely, though, the father mentions to the girl that once the children are put to sleep for the night, the girl should only go to the basement and not spend her time in any other room in the house. She could watch television down there and was free to do anything else in the basement. But the rest of the house was totally off limits to her. So she goes to the basement once the children are in bed, but quickly notices a large clown statue in the corner of the room. It appears to be staring at her. She continues to watch her show, but can't shake the feeling that the statue is following her around the room with its eyes. She puts a blanket over the statue, and eventually, in an effort to make herself feel more comfortable, then telephones the father of the children, asks if she can go and move to another room of the house because she's so freaked out by the clown. You need to leave now. We don't own a clown statue. The children have been telling us they've been seeing a clown in the room in the night, and we thought they were having nightmares. You need to take the children and get out. The young girl hangs up the phone terrified. She turns around. But the statue is gone, leaving only the blanket on the floor. You guys ready for another one? 1 second. Okay, this is a little shorter. All right. The hitchhiker that never was. All right. A girl in a pretty white dress, an embroidered sweater flags down an old man for a ride. He gives her a ride to her great-grandmother's house, and they have a lovely conversation talking about the old days, and the elderly man shares some great stories with her. He drops her off at her Gima's house, her grandmother's house, and he goes home. The following day, when he gets in the car to pick up some milk and the paper, he realizes the sweater's still in the car. He swings by the young girl's grandmother's house to drop off the sweater, and her grandmother answers the door. He explains why he's there. I'm sorry, sir. I think you have the wrong address. My great-granddaughter died many, many years ago, wearing her favorite white dress after a night out dancing. Was she a haunter? You guys ready for another one? All right, the ghostly maid. Once upon a time, a man and a boy who had lost their wife and mother moved into a new house. They were told by the locals in the village that the house was haunted, but neither the man nor the boy believed in ghosts, and they moved into the house quite happily. The boy, went downstairs and asked the maid of the home for a glass of water and some fruit, and she happily obliged. She was like, sure, you can have some fruit. She also told the boy that there could be ghosts. Later that day, the little boy struck up a conversation with his father. Daddy, I've been thinking, I could believe in ghosts. The maid told me there might be ghosts in the house. Son, we don't have a maid. We need to leave. Are you guys ready for one last one? You ready to bring your battle? I know Agatha's trying to get in your head, but say, we're not going to do that. We are strong. We are going to resist this like normal Pokemon, and we are going to fight with our Lickitung, and we are going to beat Agatha. You guys ready for one more? Mr. Sullivan? All right. On a cold winter day, Mr. Sullivan came to whilst walking alongside the edge of the road. He walked over to a woman and asked for her help, only for her to scream loudly at the mere sight of him. Been there before, right? And she ran away in fear. Astonished at her response, Mr. Sullivan continued on his way and tried to flag down several passing cars, only for them to all speed up as soon as they saw him. He eventually called a taxi company, and when they arrived, they looked at him and they too sped away. The man went back to the same phone booth and called his wife, wanting to know what on earth was going on and why people seemed to be so afraid of him. A man answered the phone in a voice he didn't recognize. Unfortunately, Mrs. Sullivan isn't available at the moment. She's at her husband's funeral. He died in a car accident last night. Finally, Mr. Sullivan found his way to a public bathroom. He looked in the mirror and found his face bloodied and bruised, his skin a mess, and his bones were broken. His skin was pale and his eyes were bloodied. He realized why everyone was so reluctant to stop to help him. He was dead. He was a ghost. All right, guys, let's go into the battle.